Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. More than ever, our city is partnering and collaborating, investing and improving to create a safer Louisville. We're making encouraging progress, but there's still so much work ahead of us. We're going to keep performing, we're going to keep improving at Louisville Metro Government, at LMPD, and we're going to keep moving in the right direction regardless of what's going on outside of Louisville. So, when the federal government abandoned our negotiated consent decree earlier this year, I voluntarily committed our city government the same reform efforts with our community commitment, Louisville's consent decree. This past Tuesday, we held our first meeting of the Community Safety Commission with representatives of the community, nonprofit organizations, and the judicial system. The Community Safety Commission is focused on reducing crime and providing public accountability to our reform efforts in this area. Also in attendance at that first Community Safety Commission meeting was our new independent monitor for our community commitment. The independent monitor and the Community Safety Commission are two groups that will help us strengthen and speed up the progress that is already underway. Another partner in the work that we do in these efforts is the Office of Inspector General. I've been steadfast in my support for the Office of the Inspector General and the role that it plays in our city. The Office of Inspector General plays a critically important role in responding to civilian complaints regarding the LMPD. As our work continues, we need to keep holding each other accountable, to keep improving, to keep strengthening relationships between the community and LMPD. Recently, after getting some of these other efforts underway that I just mentioned, I had a chance to sit down and talk with our current Inspector General, Ed Harness, to discuss the office, his first term, and our future working together. Today, I'm pleased to announce that I am nominating Inspector General Ed Harness for a second term here in Louisville Metro Government. Inspector General Harness, if you'd like to say a few words, please join me.
Thank you, Mayor Greenberg, for entrusting me with this vital role. I also want to thank Deputy Mayor Mayton for her steadfast counsel throughout this time. And also, I want to thank Deputy Chief Staff, Mr. Kaplan. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the members of the Civilian Review and Accountability Board, both those past and present. Thank you to the OIG staff who spends hours watching body cameras, interviewing folks, reaching hard conclusions sometimes, doing exhaustive research, looking at data, and providing the product that allows me to stand here today. Thank you to our ombudsman, who is a critical piece for our public outreach. Thank you to the community, the members of the community that lifted their voices in support of the OIG and our operations and the work that we've done. Moving forward, we've been in contact with the monitoring team, and we will meet to discuss with them how we will fulfill our obligation in the community. Also, in 2026, we look forward to hosting the National Association for Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement annual conference here in Louisville. There will be hundreds of oversight professionals scouring the streets of Louisville, probably maybe sipping some bourbon and doing some other things, but peers getting together, networking to provide oversight of law enforcement. Let me conclude by saying this. A community is a group of people bound by a common purpose. Our purpose is a safe and prosperous Louisville. Constitutional policing creates a safer Louisville. I pledge every day to work toward a safer Louisville for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ed. Before we open it up to the media for some questions, I just want to echo one of the things that Ed just remarked on to thank the community. Thank the community for their input during this process. Thank the community for their involvement as we continue to work together to improve public safety and to improve the relationships between all of us at Louisville Metro government and the community, to improve the relationships between LMPD. Thank you, Councilwoman Hawkins, for your efforts to bring the community together. Thank you, Bishop Lyons, for what you do every Friday morning at the Bishop's table to bring in law enforcement, the community, and other parts of Louisville Metro government together. I want to thank everybody that has been a part of that. And just also one other administrative update is that as a result of Deputy Mayor James's departure from the administration and becoming sheriff, we've moved a couple of things around internally. And the Office of Inspector General will now be reporting to our Executive Director for Community Safety, Misty Wright, as part of some of our internal reorganization efforts that are in the process of happening this week. So I know that Misty looks forward to working with Ed in his continued capacity as we move forward to all work together to improve public safety in so many different ways. Again, congratulations, Ed. Look forward to working with you for another term. Look forward to working with the community in its entirety on these efforts as we work to improve public safety, improve accountability, and restore that trust and relationships that we all want for our entire community when it comes to these issues. Thank you all very much, and happy to take some questions from members of the media.
Can you explain a little bit about why specifically you decided to reappoint Mr. Harness? Can you talk a little bit about your assessment of the work he's done in recent years?
Sure. Well, I thought one of the things I thought was important following our conversation and just thinking about where we are as a city is that we're making a lot of steps in the right direction. We're making significant improvements every day. We're making improvements in reducing the amount of violent crime. And I also feel like we're making improvements as we re-strengthen relationships between the community and law enforcement, between the community and Louisville Metro government and other leaders. And so I thought, continuity was important. Ed and his team at the Office of Inspector General have played a role in that progress that we're making. So I want to keep doing that. I want to improve. I want all of us to improve on what we're doing, but keep moving in that right direction. And I thought that under Ed's leadership and at the Office of Inspector General, that will help us keep moving in that right direction that we're all seeing right now. If you look at earlier this week at the Community Safety Commission, that was great dialogue. It was a great start to that effort. Again, progress. We are not there yet, but that's definitely progress. And so I want to continue making the progress. When we're doing the right things, let's keep doing them. If we're not, let's change course. And here I think we're headed in the right direction.
Occasions during his tenure, Mr. Harness has expressed frustration about the lack of communication he's had with LMPD and lack of response he's getting from LMPD about the work he's doing and his findings. What has your office done to improve that, and how will this be better going forward?
So the question was about the relationship between the Office of Inspector General and LMPD in the past and what it looks like moving forward. I think there's always going to be some natural tension between an independent office that's focused on accountability and the offices that are within its jurisdiction. So I think there'll always be some of that natural tension. The chief is committed to these reform efforts as well. You've seen what under his leadership LMPD has done. We've had conversations about all of these topics, and I think you will see a stronger working relationship between the Office of Inspector General and LMPD in the months and years to come.
Truly independent with it reporting to Misty right now?
The office is truly independent. I mean, I'll let Ed answer that question, but I think from my perspective, the office is an independent office. The way that it was set up with the Civilian Review and Accountability Board, and really the things that Ed can talk more about it, but the things that in terms of a reporting structure are more from administrative, as I view it, than anything. As a matter of fact, when Ed and I had conversations about his tenure and about looking forward, we didn't even talk about the conclusions, any conclusions that his office made. I view that to be his role as the independent Inspector General.
Yes, to answer your question, absolutely, we're independent, but understand that we're accountable to Louisville Metro government as well. And as the mayor said, at no time has the mayor's office ever tried to interfere with our independence and in the way that we do our work, and question the integrity of of doing that work. While we've had, some strained conversations at times, that is part of independence, and that, I don't want to say adversarial, but those frictions that are just absolutely necessary when you have an independent organization.
What would you like to see change in terms of your relationship between your office and the police department? You have described that relationship as cold at times. So moving forward into this second term, what's the number one thing that you believe has to change in order for the city and the police department to push forward?
Well, if you're going to limit me to one, I think we need to open up more communication channels with the department so that things that can be resolved informally, there should be an avenue to accomplish that as opposed to formalizing everything through one communication channel.
Many people, organizations, and even Metro Council members were calling for Mr. Harness's reappointment. Did that have any factor in your decision?
So the question was about the support that Mr. Harness had from members of Metro Council and other members of the community. I certainly have been listening to all across the community, the Metro Council, the members of the community that have made their voice heard on this and other topics. I tried to take community input and community viewpoints into consideration on every decision that I make, and certainly that was one component. But a lot of it was for the reasons that I mentioned earlier about we're doing a lot of the right things, and so let's move forward. But I really appreciate all of the community really the community input that we heard on this issue and on all these topics. I mean, it also played a role. That's why we are doing the community commitment. That's why we have an independent monitor. That's what this community wants. And under our administration, that's what this community is getting, and that's what we're doing. We are taking real steps towards reform, whether we're forced to or not. In this case, what we're doing has been all voluntary, and I'm very pleased about that.
Mr. Harness, as recently as August, you were publicly talking about the lack of responses that you've been getting to your investigations from LMPD. How many cases have you investigated where you have not received any response from LMPD at this point?
Off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to give you that number, but let me just say that we are in a new era now, at a paradigm shift as of Tuesday with the signing of the agreement with the monitor. And so all of those activities will be examined by the monitor. So I would expect that there will be an exponential change in the dynamic between our work and the response of the.
Ed, can you just speak a little bit to, you spent a lot of the first part of your term really just trying to get this Inspector General's office off the ground. Obviously, there was difficulty with it being a completely new thing. How do you think that might change in a second term?
Sure. The question is regarding how we're going to change in the second term based upon the first term really just establishing ourselves. Well, I think that what we will be doing now is, now that we have the foundation, we'll be putting the walls up and getting windows and putting treatments in and all of that. We'll be refining the work that we do. The Civilian Review and Accountability Board has already approved an MOU recommendation that has been forwarded to the chief, which we believe will bring our operations in line with the community commitment as signed and outlined. So that will be probably the next step. And we'll just continue to try and improve every day.
LMPD is obviously not here right now. What are your hopes in terms of the police department being more cooperative? You and I have discussed how you believe this is an important relationship, and while it is delicate at times based on the nature of what this office does, have you set an expectation that there should be more communication between the two offices going forward?
Yeah, the question was about my conversations with LMPD as we move forward. Yes, and so the chief and I have talked about that. The chief is very aware of this decision that I made. The chief is at the Major Chiefs Conference today. Otherwise, he would probably be here today if he were in town. But he's at the Major Cities Chiefs National Conference. So he is aware of all of that. I think he is committed to continue to improve the relationship. I think you can see with the efforts that LMPD has taken You can see from their presentation at the Community Safety Commission earlier this week, you can see with their involvement with the independent monitor, they are fully committed to reform. This is my first day in office. Even they have been focused on reforming and improving. That's what Chief Humphrey is committed to. You see it in their effort every day. And I think this is another step that you'll continue to see improvement on along these lines that we're talking about. Any more questions? All right. Well, thank you all very much. Again, congratulations, Mr. Harness, and we look forward to continue working together.
Thanks very much.
Thank you all.